What is going on, everyone? My name is Andy. Welcome back to another FPL video. In this one, it's some of my early thoughts ahead of Game Week 2. So I'm going to give my opinion on a few players. I've got a few notes to go through as well, and we'll take an early look at my team for Game Week 2. So let's get into it. So there's only one player we can start this video with, and that is Reijnders at Man City, who went up in price overnight. He now costs 5.6 million, which is still incredible value for what he could offer this year. And it's already looking like he's probably going to be one of the best value players in FPL this season, if not the best value player. So I understand completely why everyone wants to bring him in if you don't already own him. I would say that Wolves away is probably their best fixture of the first 5 game weeks, but still the next 3 are Spurs at home, Brighton away, Man United at home, and it is difficult to turn down a Man City player that's going to be given license to get forward for less than 6 million. So overall, really good pick, really good player to transfer in this week. The only thing that I slightly disagree with people on is that he's absolutely essential and you have to bring him in Game Week 2. Now, for his price, he might end up being essential because that'll unlock funds to spend elsewhere. But the idea that he has to be brought in for Game Week 2 is what I disagree on. Lots of people have got good midfielders who could be the ones to get points this week, and having that extra week's worth of information, having 2 transfers going into Game Week 3 could be more beneficial. Like right now, you might be looking at a particular midfielder to sell for Reijnders. You get to Game Week 3 having not made a transfer, you might want to sell a different midfielder, and you've got an extra transfer to redistribute the funds. And it could be that he blanks against Spurs at home. And we find this every single season after Game Week 1. Whatever happens that week, lots of people just think that's what's going to continue to happen. Like, I hate to break it to people, but Reijnders is not going to get 10 points every week. He's going to be incredible value. And again, please listen to what I'm saying. If you want to bring him in, you absolutely should. And I will probably get him over the next few weeks as well. I just don't think he's absolutely essential for one of your transfers in Game Week 2, unless you've got a player that is not going to start in Game Week 2 or is suspended or injured or something like that. Then it's a whole different kind of story. Like if you look at the numbers he put up, 0.12 expected goals per 90 against Wolves, 0.21 expected assists. Really good numbers for a player that costs less than 6 million, but they are worse numbers than what Wirtz put up in Game Week 1. Now, I understand that Wirtz is a lot more expensive. My point is, Wirtz put up similar numbers and blanked. Reijnders got a 10-pointer. Next week, it could be the opposite. So don't rush out. You spent all those weeks picking your midfielders, and now you want to sell them straight away. If it's a player like Arias at Wolves who didn't start and you're concerned for Game Week 2, fair enough. Obviously, just sell him. But for most people, you could just wait another week. And you might get to Game Week 3 and think, do you know what? He is great, but it's Brighton away. Maybe I'll wait another week. Maybe I'll have another free transfer going into Game Week 4. And at the end of the day, it's always frustrating having to buy players more expensive than what other people get them for. But if you get to Game Week 3 or 4 and you've got to pay 6 million, and we're still confident he's going to get the minutes, that's still a really good price. Yes, your team value would have taken a bit of a hit, but he's still a great option. So by all means, bring him in this week. But it's not absolutely essential that you do that. If you're not sure what player to bring in for Game Week 2 or whether you should make a transfer in general and you want a second opinion, you can check out the AI suggested transfers over on Fantasy Football Hub. So I'm just going to show you it for my team. So this is how I'm looking for Game Week 2. And at the top, I can just click AI transfers. It's going to look through my team and then suggest transfers to make. But in this case, it's recommending making no transfers. So I'm not panicking on Reijnders just yet. Neither is the AI tool either. If you want to check that out for your own team, you can just click the link in the description below or scan the QR code on screen. And there's 50% off Fantasy Football Hub at the moment if you join up. And if you sign up and don't win your mini league, you will get your money back. Terms and conditions apply. All the links you need are in the description below. Go and check out your suggested transfers now. So speaking of Florian Wirtz, when the FPL game launched this season, I had so many comments about his 8.5 million price point being too low. He was absolutely essential. Fast forward one game, and all of a sudden he's the most sold midfielder, over 200,000 transfers out already this week. And I understand it because you've watched Liverpool. Ekitike's done well. Gakpo's done well. It's frustrating that Wirtz has blanked. People want to go and get Reijnders, etc. I completely understand why some of you are selling him, but it is just one game. Remember why you picked him in the first place. And Bournemouth at home was Liverpool's best fixture of the first 3. So it is frustrating that he's blanked in that one. You're now worried it's going to happen again. Newcastle away is tough. Then it's Arsenal at home. He could also just get an attack and return this week. And it might not be as bad as you are fearing right now. And he might have an incredible game against Newcastle, which of course he is capable of. All of a sudden you think, okay, Arsenal's not great, but then it's Burnley away in Game Week 4. Then it's Everton at home in Game Week 5. Things start to look a a little bit better. Now, this is going to be a theme of Game Week 2. In my opinion, in most cases, unless you're being pushed into a transfer, i.e. you have made a genuine mistake, you've got someone that's not likely to play in Game Week 2, holding your transfer is usually quite good value going into Game Week 3, having that flexibility. It might be that you want to sell a different player. So I might want to watch one more match of Wirtz and Fernandes before I make my decision. If Wirtz does look a little bit off it, maybe I sell him before Arsenal at home in 3. If he looks great and does what we all expect him to do, maybe I want to keep him. Maybe I sell someone else instead. So everyone has to make that decision for their own team, of course. But I just think that Wirtz came in with so much hype that doesn't change after one game. Like, he still did pretty well in that first game against Bournemouth. He just didn't come away with any returns, and that is going to happen sometimes. He's still probably worth 8.5 million. He's still capable of getting returns against Newcastle. Again, if you want to sell, completely welcome, right? It's your team. You should make your own decisions. But I think it's a perfectly reasonable decision to want to hold on to him for at least one more week and then reassess. Let's talk about Viktor Gyökeres next. Not a great start for him in FPL, just a one-pointer against Man United. And if you're new to FPL this season, I know he went off in the 60th minute, but for FPL purposes, if you walk off that pitch before the clock says 60, it's just one appearance point. So if it's 59-59 and you're off the pitch, you're not getting that extra point for hitting the 60th minute. I watched the whole game. He wasn't great. Really didn't trouble the Man United defence whatsoever. Never really had any good chances to score. But I do think we can cut him some slack. It's his first game in the Premier League. It was away to Man United. And I think Man United generally just played a lot better than people were expecting them to. So it wasn't an easy game for him. What happened, though, is what I've been talking about. Kai Havertz is more of a threat to that number 9 position than most people are giving him credit for. I don't think he's going to start against Leeds and not necessarily against Liverpool or anything like that. I think Gyökeres will mostly be in the first 11, but early subs are a possibility, especially in the first few game weeks as he kind of builds up that match fitness. So I think your decision for Game Week 2 is pretty simple. If you don't own Gyökeres, in most cases, I probably wouldn't buy him because you're not going to be confident enough to captain him, surely. Like, he could just play another 60 minutes against Leeds. And of course, he could score 2 or 3 goals in that time. He also might get another one-pointer if he comes off just before the 60th minute. So I don't think you can be confident enough to captain him. I don't think he's worth a transfer in when he's got Liverpool away in Game Week 3, then Forest at home, City at home, Newcastle away. If you're looking to wildcard very early, like 3 or 4, fair enough. Maybe you go ahead with the plan to bring him in. But for most people, I would ignore him. On the flip side, if you've got him in your team, you just keep hold of him. It's Leeds at home. He could do really well in that match. Just because he played poorly in Game Week 1 doesn't mean he's going to do it in his first home game of the season against a newly promoted side. At least give yourself to the Liverpool away game in Game Week 3 to make any decisions about getting rid of him. So if you've got him, keep him. If you don't have him, I probably wouldn't buy. I think Havertz is going to be a bit more of a problem than people think, especially early on. Let's see what happens over the next couple of weeks. So we've got to discuss Omar Marmoush. 8.5 million, didn't start in Game Week 1, just 25 minutes off the bench against Wolves. Massively frustrating. Welcome to the world of Pep Roulette. I know everything looks really rosy with Reijnders right now, but unless your name's Erling Haaland or Rodri when fully fit, I wouldn't 100% guarantee any other player to start every match. Like, Reijnders will probably start the majority. He could start all of them. It's absolutely possible with the kind of player that he is. Bernardo Silva gets a lot of minutes as well. But to 100% guarantee any of these players like Cherki, Marmoush, Foden are going to be in the squad, nobody can do it. There's loads of great accounts out there that talk about Man City, how they might set up. None of them will get it 100%. It's almost impossible. They're doing an impossible job. And this is the trap you fall into. Because now if you own Marmoush, you're looking at it ahead of Spurs at home, thinking, well, I don't really want to sell him. Because if he starts, he could do really well. But on the other hand, I want to sell him because if he doesn't start, that's an absolute disaster. 2 benchings for 8.5 million, that's not going to happen, right? You won't put up that for very long. I've been thinking about this quite a lot since the stream yesterday. What would I do if I had him? I feel like I would probably keep him, hope that he starts, just to have that extra free transfer in Game Week 3. But if someone said to me, I really want to sell him, I would not talk you out of it. Because I just think this frustration will continue. It might be that Marmoush starts the next 3 games. It could also be that he starts Spurs then gets benched in the next 2. He might get benched against Spurs, then start against Brighton. Pep will use different setups. He said after the game that when Cherki came on, they had a bit more control of the ball. So does that mean he starts next week? Possibly. He also might not. We just don't know, right? And this is the problem. So I think in most cases, I would just hold him and hope that he starts, reassess ahead of game week 3 with 2 free transfers. But if you want to get rid of him to save your sanity, that is worth something in FPL. Honestly, if you can be happy with your team and not just get super frustrated at the players you've got in it, that will help you make better decisions. So if you're one of those people that's already raging because you've got Marmoush and he's been benched and you've just got to sell him, go ahead and do it. So I've just got some notes from the weekend about a few other players to go through. So Frimpong at Liverpool, hugely frustrating if you took the punt on him because he went off before the 60th minute. Had he gone off a minute or two later, you would have locked in the clean sheet before Liverpool conceded. So it could have been so much different. Apparently, according to Arne Slot, he felt his hamstring at halftime. So that's why they had to take him off. It sounded like it was a bit of a precaution, not necessarily a major issue. And Arne Slot is quite open in his press conferences. So hopefully on Friday he'll say he's fine. So I wouldn't make any rash decisions with Frimpong. I would probably look to keep hold of him rather than sell him. Also, Conor Bradley was not in the squad. We still don't know how long he might be out for. And while he's out, if Frimpong's fit, he will start. Konza is suspended for game week 2. Very unlucky if you went there in game week 1 because obviously Villa got the clean sheet, but he got sent off. I think if you can bench him this week, he's just a hold because the fixtures afterwards are pretty good. I wouldn't want to spend that transfer on a 4.5. If you're looking to bench boost in game week 2, which I know some of you are, then I would sell him because why would you not want a full squad of playing players? Bruno Fernandes, just quickly, he played in a deeper role in central midfield. That was to be expected. I was a little bit surprised on the stream yesterday how many people were surprised that's the role he played. That is his new position in this Man United team with Cunha and Mbeumo in the 10 roles and Šeško eventually number 9. He might get given a bit more license to get forward when it's not a game against Arsenal, right? Best defence in the league. They're difficult to break down. I will say, though, right, they played the best defence in the league in game week 1, and Bruno put up 0.15 expected goals and 0.3 expected assists. 0.45 expected goal involvement. That ain't bad against Arsenal. Plus, he's on penalties. Plus, you know he's always going to play 90. Like, obviously, don't buy him right now. But if you've got him, I think you definitely keep hold of him. You've got the worst game out of the way. Now it's Fulham away, then Burnley at home in 3. He is still going to get forward. He's still going to create chances. He's still on penalties. Don't panic just yet. And then Thiago at Brentford could be potentially really good value on penalties. And he played the full 90 minutes. The only thing to say is Carvalho and Lewis Potter were in that team, kind of playing either side of Thiago. Sharda's obviously an option to come back in. They've signed Dango Utara as well. He's going to come in. Before you rush out and buy Thiago, which I'm sure most of you are not doing, I would want to see how they all set up with the new signings and what his minutes are like. But I think there's promise there. 90 minutes game week 1 on penalties. Didn't get a huge amount of chances. Forest obviously bossed that game for the most part. But at that kind of price point, he might be better than Fulkrug, might be better than Barry, etc. Although Barry might start tonight against Leeds and smash it, but you know what I mean. So I just want to take an early look at my own team for game week 2. I'm almost certainly going to roll the transfer. I really just value having that flexible position in game week 3 with 2 free transfers. I can choose how I might want to distribute the funds, etc. And it might be that I just roll again into game week 4. But after being forced into a transfer last season in game weeks 2 and 3, I'm quite happy that that isn't the case as it stands. My big decision really will be whether or not to play double Burnley defence, Dubravka and Esteve against Sunderland at home. Obviously, after this weekend's games, that doesn't look ideal. Burnley have conceded 3, Sunderland have scored 3 against West Ham. But I don't necessarily want to overreact after one game. My intention in pre-season was to play those 2 players. What's really changed? Yes, Sunderland scored 3 goals, but they scored 3 against West Ham with less than 1 XG. And yes, Burnley have conceded 3. It's against Spurs in an away game. They're going to be one of the better attacks this season. So I will probably play the double up, but I am tempted just to split the risk. Play Esteve over Porro, but maybe play Sanchez over Dubravka, something like that. It doesn't feel great benching Porro because he might play as a wing-back, but again, that was my intention in pre-season for game week 2. Anderson against Man United at home, not bad for defensive contributions, got close in game week 1, and then Nico Williams against Palace away. Salah's currently my captain. There's a little bit of temptation to move it to Palmer. I do think West Ham away is obviously better than Newcastle away. I'm a little bit concerned about Palmer though, honestly, because he hasn't had the output in FPL for a long time. I don't think this number 10 role necessarily really suits him. And I've had this discussion with other people where I've said he's better off the right. And the Chelsea fans always say to me, but he's not on the right. He plays central, but I do think it's different. I think coming in off the right is different than playing number 10 from the start. And he did get plenty of returns last year in that position early on. So it's not impossible, but this has been going on for a while. So I'm a little bit concerned about him already. But again, I'm not going to panic and sell him. I'm not going to do Palmer to Reijnders in game week 2, put it that way. Fernandez I've already spoken about. Wirtz I've spoken about as well. Dewsbury Hall at the time of recording I've not even seen play yet. He's playing against Leeds on Monday night. He could end up doing really well. I'm sitting here feeling really stupid for not going Reijnders. Dewsbury Hall could get a return. I don't even necessarily need him to get 10 points. I just need a goal or an assist, preferably both, but one or the other. And I feel much better about that pick. Like, he might play number 10 full time. They might put in Jai on the right, Grealish on the left. We just don't know yet. So at 5 million, he could end up being one of the best value picks this season. He could also end up being a dud, but at least let me watch the game first and then have an opinion on that. Watkins against Brentford away, that now looks better after they conceded 3 to Forest. Strand Larson, I think Wolves played really well against Man City up until they conceded, and then it's like they just capitulated. Strand Larson, I think for 6.5, especially if he's on penalties, is going to be really good value this season. He did get into the box, and I wouldn't say he had a lot of good chances, but he was getting into good positions. And against a weaker defence, he might have more of a threat in terms of actually getting some points. So I'm pretty happy. I'm not going to panic about Reijnders. I'm not hugely happy about having to pay more for him, but he can come into my team in game week 3 or 4 or 5, whenever it is. It doesn't have to be game week 2. So I'm almost certainly going to roll. Don't forget, if you want to get your AI suggested transfers over on Fantasy Football Hub, click the link in the description below or scan the QR code on screen. If you've enjoyed that video, make sure to give it a like, hit that subscribe button, and I'll be back for transfer tips tomorrow.